So I posted a video where I am criticizing a lot of white women who have tried to come together to break down white supremacy, and I posted that video on YouTube, and I've had a lot of white women that I've had to block. One white woman who commented and said, "You have no idea what I've gone through with my health." One of my favorite comments left by a white person was one person saying, "You'll never be criticized by somebody doing more than you." Last I checked, if you are trying to advocate for someone, you're going to listen to them and what they need. And you're not going to feel triggered and say hateful shit to them and tell them to shut up and not say anything. And they're never supposed to give any feedback. And they're just supposed to be grateful for the half-ass to zero effort that you're putting in. That's so odd to me. Another white woman commented and said, "You sure do love to pick at allies." And I have likened a lot of white women and how they treat and talk to black women to what it's like being in an abusive relationship. Have any of you ever been in an abusive relationship or a toxic relationship? If not, you can just listen. You don't have to comment. But an abusive or toxic relationship where you just brought up a concern, something that your partner can just do better to improve things in your relationship. And they responded by saying, "Oh, I can never make you happy, okay? You don't know how hard it is for me at work, and then I gotta sit in traffic, and then I gotta come home and hear you bitch and complain about everything. I just wanna come home and sit in peace without you being on my back all the time." This is what you sound like. White supremacy affects black people. We wanna break this shit down. Unfortunately, we can't break it down until a great majority of you white people get on board and get with the program. So when we make suggestions and say, "Hey guys, this is some stuff that maybe y'all can do," and then you tell us to shut up and just take what you're giving us, nothing is going to change. And I can totally understand why you're not really in a hurry. I can totally understand why you would prefer to stay comfortable, because this shit's not affecting you. Black women are 3 times more likely to die giving birth, not necessarily due to some cause that happened, but it's more likely going to be due to a doctor being negligent or misdiagnosing something or gaslighting her into thinking that nothing is really wrong with her. I understand that there might be some exceptions to the rule, but your son, who is white, is not going to get pulled over by the cops and gunned down for no reason. If your son goes jogging in a predominantly white neighborhood, people are just going to assume that he lives there. Most of your ignorant asses have basic names, so you don't have to worry about somebody discriminating against you when they're hiring people and going through resumes. Because you can be a white person and that's fine. But if I, as a black person, want to celebrate my culture and my people and the tribes we've come from, then that might cost us a job. There's this quote, and maybe one of y'all can look it up and tell me where it's from. I just remember seeing it somewhere. But the quote is, "When you turn a blind eye to injustice, it will show up at your front door." And I heard another black creator speak on this. And she said, "It's so funny, white women seem to think that none of this shit's gonna affect them. A lot of you will show up in our comment sections and apologize to us. 'I'm so sorry that the election turned out the way it did.' And you're saying it as if your hands are off of it and you're immune and nothing's going to happen to you. There's a reason that people say, unless there's peace for everyone, there is no peace at all. Because once y'all annihilate us off the fucking planet, who do you think they're going to turn to next? Who do you think they have been turning to? A lot of you don't care to understand that it is a privilege that you can sit back and not give a fuck what happens to anybody else, and you can just cut people off and not have uncomfortable discussions and sit in your warm, cozy bed because none of it's affecting you. That's privilege because you're fragile. And I literally had women say some of the dumbest shit in my comment section and then say, "Well, I'm not fragile." Oh, okay. Until you're able to take a deep breath and say, "You know what? Being racist is white culture. I'm not burning crosses. I might not be using the N-word, but being racist is being white." And when you take that first step then you can actually make changes towards progress. But as long as you're ignorant and you're closing your ears and you're attacking me for speaking the truth, you're not going to get anywhere.